I am telling the story here of two sons. A grievous wrong was done to one, along with to thousands of others of all ages. The second son is striving to get that wrong righted. The first son, Kevin Flannery, was born at Clark Air Base in the Philippines, 25th of July 1969. This son died shortly after birth and was laid to rest in Clark Cemetery. Why? His mother could not bring herself to leave her 3 other young children, including his twin sister Catherine, to take Kevin's body home for burial. She felt at peace with this decision, in the firm belief that America would always look after its own, wherever in the world they may be. She was so very wrong. When the US Air Force left Clark in 1991, following the Mount Pinatubo eruption, America also effectively abandoned the cemetery. No arrangements were made for its upkeep and care. In 1994, members of VFW Post 2485, unable to bear the decayed and unkempt state of the cemetery, were given permission to do what they could to restore it to some sort of order and dignity. Raising the funds themselves from donations, and with volunteer helpers, they have done wonders. They cleared the site as well as they could, and they keep it in the best state that they can. But with the greatest will in the world, all they can really do is to maintain the cemetery in a state of arrested decay. But to do even that is almost a miracle. Together with Clark Veterans Cemetery Restoration Association, they have also created a new plaza, restored monuments, built a new fence and gate. Now, Clark Veterans Cemetery Restoration Association is doing all it can to raise awareness of this forgotten cemetery and to have it restored to its rightful state, maintained as it should be by the US government. We believe that the government owes this to all interred at Clark, and to those who have loved and lost them. At last we have a Senate Resolution S3320, Remembering America's Forgotten Veterans Cemetery Act of 2012, which seeks to do just that. Then Kevin, along with the thousands of others interred at Clark, will be granted the dignity and respect that all who lie in Clark Cemetery deserve. The wrong will finally be righted. Now we come to the other son, Nathaniel Beeler, born 26th of July 2001, who lives in Avon, Indiana, in the USA. He may at first sight seem an unlikely hero, but his is a story of a boy who believes in justice and is acting on that belief. What was Nathaniel doing on his 11th birthday this year, 2012? Was he opening presents, having a party, blowing out the candles on his cake? Perhaps he and his friends went bowling, or to the movies. No. All during the week of 23rd of July, this patriotic young man from the Midwest walked the halls of Congress. He met with congressmen, senators, and their staff in an attempt to correct the grievous error that we know was committed by the US government in 1991. To restate, that error is the abandonment of the military cemetery at the former Clark Air Base, a cemetery that contains the remains of military veterans and their dependents from conflicts ranging from the Spanish-American War to the present day. Young Nathaniel Beeler has been emailing, calling and knocking on doors in an attempt to get the legislature to take positive action and pass S3320, Remembering America's Forgotten Veterans Cemetery, and to reconcile its related legislation in the House to mirror the Senate bill. Remarkably, Nathaniel did not grow up in a military family. He learned of the issue after his mother, a schoolteacher, read an AP story that ran on 4th of July 2011 and shared it with the family. Nathaniel asked what he could do. He developed a PowerPoint story and went on to gain 1,000 signatures on a petition. Then, accompanied by his mother, he travelled from his home in Avon at the family's own expense, specifically to carry the message to Washington. He did this for all the honourable dead who are interred at Clark, and for Kevin, a boy who did not have the chance to grow into what he might have become. What is even more impressive in this story is the level of Nathan's success. He met with Senators Ayotte, the sponsor of the Senate bill, Lugar, Coates, Murray, Burr and McCain, and the staff of an additional 15 senators and several congressmen, including Congressman Gunter, who sponsored the companion bill in the House. That bill, sadly, was effectively kicked into the long grass, being sent for review by committee. But now S2320 is due to be marked up at the end of August 2012 and hopefully voted on in September. We are calling on every US citizen who views this to please write to their own senators, urging them to pass S2320 as it is written, without amendment. We call on everyone who views it and hears this story to please also write to Senator Murray of Washington and Senator Burr of North Carolina. Senator Murray decides which bills are sent to the Senate floor for the vote. Senator Burr is ranking member of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. We need their support. Please share this story and help us to spread the word as widely as possible so that Clark is no longer America's forgotten cemetery. Then these honourable dead will finally be respected and rest in dignity, and those who loved them be at peace. The story of these two sons will then end as it should. One respected and honoured in death, the other continuing to grow into a respectful and honourable young man. Nathaniel's story goes on, and he hopes to one day become a marine aviator. Who better to continue the story of service to his nation, a service faithfully rendered by the veterans interred at Clark?